not missing a seat. Move down. Everybody take a seat.
Good morning. I'm Dave Cowell, principal of Oswego High School. Good morning. I'm David Cowell, principal of Oswego High School, and on behalf of the students and the faculty of the high school, I'd like to welcome parents, friends, faculty members, our honored guests, and especially our graduates to the 138th commencement exercises for Oswego High School. At this time, I would ask everyone to rise and join our student, faculty, alumni ceremonial brass ensemble in our national anthem. Please be seated. Before we begin this morning's program, I would like to make introductions to the people on the stage. On my right and your left, beginning with our Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Lee Cravata, President of the Board of Education, Ms. Kathleen Finland. Unable to be with us this morning because of illness in his family is Mr. Michael Stereo, our Vice President of the Board. Also here today, Mr. Samuel Tripp, Mr. Charles Young, Mr. Donald Todd. Assisting me with the program this morning are two good friends and associates, Mr. William Simmons, Vice Principal, and also Mr. Joseph Lazarski, Vice Principal. To my left and your right, President of the class, Bernadette Soto, Vice President, Lisa Hurlbut, Secretary, Aaron Dimling, Treasurer, Emily McCormick, Salutatorian, Daniel Cray, and Valedictorian, Elizabeth Janning. Thank you. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce for the salutatory address a good friend, Mr. Daniel Patrick Cray.
Well, we have arrived. There is an old saying. It's incredibly overused already, so I don't suppose I could do much harm by using it again. The saying is this: you are what you eat. Now, I don't want you to get the wrong idea here. This speech isn't going to be about the cafeteria food or about how they wouldn't let us out to lunch. This is about a different type of consumption that we have engaged in during these past 4 years: the consumption of knowledge. Throughout our high school years, we have had a tremendous feast set before us daily. Our teachers have served as our host by both preparing and serving our meals. The classroom provided us with a suitable dining room. Pen, pencil, paper, and calculator served as our knives and forks. Our desks were our tables, and the blackboard played the part of our centerpiece, upon which we all focused our attention. Our meals took the form of books, lectures, images, and activities. At times, we were forced to dine on things we really didn't like because, as our mothers would tell us, it was for our own good. At other times, we consumed the same meal more than once so that we fully savored its unique flavor. But what our teachers shared with us was not the only nourishment our minds received. Life presented its own bounty. While we were with friends and family or off on our own, life presented a myriad of experiences that continued to feed us the raw materials that we would use to create the extraordinary individual that each of us is today. All the knowledge and experience we have consumed has shaped every aspect of our lives. Each of us is the product of the knowledge that we possess. As our experiences have differed, so too do our personalities differ. And that has provided us with a uniqueness that makes each of us an essential part of our world. We all view the world from slightly different perspectives. We all see things that others might not so readily see. We are, quite simply, ourselves. What we have done thus far is impressive. We have just cause for celebrating today. But I would feel I had done you a disservice if I did not advise you briefly about our future. What we have done is not enough. Now is not the time to wipe the corners of our mouths and step away from the table. Just as our bodies continually need food to survive, so too does our mind need constant nourishment. Otherwise, it will collapse and die, becoming of no use to us or our community. That uniqueness, which is so essential to our world, is a product of our minds. If the strength of our minds is lost, that uniqueness and all of its benefits are lost to us as well. Without our minds being constantly active and changing, we become anonymous and replaceable. Many of today's graduates are going off to college. Your task is the simplest. You could not help but continue to dine upon the knowledge the world holds. Those of you who are to enter into the armed services, you too will be presented with an enormous number of challenges that will feed your mind and your body, to improve both to levels which will undoubtedly be beyond your expectations. There's also a large number of us who will be entering directly into careers and into the true challenge that eventually awaits us all. For you, and all of us ultimately, the challenge is greater. For although your jobs will provide a source of challenge to you early on, many of you will eventually be tempted to allow your jobs to become a routine for you to perform. I beg you not to allow this to happen. Choose your career wisely. Choose a profession that will continue to challenge you for as long as you hold it. If you cannot find such a job, one that holds innate challenges for you, take the career that you enter and make it a challenge. Don't fall into the trap of apathy. Take pride in your position. Use it to its fullest extent. Expand it until it has an effect that no one but yourself had the vision to foresee. This last bit of advice goes to all of you, my friends. Forever seek knowledge in all the areas of your life. Find the knowledge residing in the world around you, in the land and in the people. Find the knowledge that is inherent in the children. Be ever open to new experiences and new knowledge that will shape you into an ever more extraordinary individual. Do not be afraid of those changes. Unlike the food that feeds our bodies, the food that fuels our minds can never be consumed to an excessive degree. Our health will never be harmed by consuming too much knowledge, so long as it is properly digested. Utilizing that information that will have a positive effect upon ourselves and our community, and ridding ourselves of those ideas that can only bring harm to us all. What you have done with your lives to this point is inspiring. All that I ask of you now is to continue on. Don't let this be an end. Today's ceremony is commencement. It is the day we choose to mark as the moment in our lives when we commence the shift from a learning-centered life to a lifestyle of continued learning, coupled with the application of our knowledge to real-world tasks. Some of us will make that shift immediately. Others have decided that their formal education should not come to a close quite yet. Whatever your course, consider this day to be a new beginning, one that will inspire us with a rejuvenated spirit to confront our world as seekers and consumers of knowledge.
Thank you, Dan. At this time, for our valedictory address, I'm pleased to introduce the lady with the friendly, quiet smile, Elizabeth Ann Janney, our valedictorian.
At this time of year, it seems that everyone is talking about the best. Who are the best students in the class? Who did the best on the final exams? Our parents always tell us to just do our best, but what does that really mean? When I began to think about what I could say to you today, I thought about the best people that I know. I realized that these people are not always the smartest, most popular, most athletic people in the world. They are, however, the kindest, most caring, most dedicated people. You see, being the best doesn't mean that you get the highest grades or that you collect the most awards. Being the best simply means that you live your life in a manner that makes you and everyone around you proud. If this happens to include being the top student or the star athlete, that's wonderful. But what is most important is that you put your heart into everything that you do. You won't always come out on top, but you will know that you put forth your best possible effort. Being the best is not a solo activity. It requires tremendous amounts of love and support from our families, friends, and teachers. Take a minute to look around you at all the people who helped you get where you are today. Look at the teachers who pushed you further than you thought you could ever go. They had faith in you, even when you didn't have faith in yourself. They took extra time to work with you because they saw the potential for greatness that each of you possesses. Look at the family members who believed in you and supported you since the very day you were born. They've seen you in your darkest moments, yet when they think of you, they only think of the light that you shine, not only on their lives, but on the whole world. Look at the friends you've grown up with. For many of us, the line between friends and family is often hard to distinguish. Our friends have listened to us when we didn't think we could talk to anyone else. They've offered advice and guidance. Our friends are willing to do just about anything, from helping us figure out a math problem to giving us a forum in which to share our most fantastic wishes and our greatest sorrows. It is these people, the people who have always had faith in us, even when they had no reason to, that help us to become our best. Our friends, families, and teachers don't always get the recognition that they so richly deserve, but their influence can be seen in the way we choose to live our lives. If we continue to accept their guidance, love, and support, we will move closer to being the kind of understanding, caring, dedicated people that they are. We will move closer to being the best.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the class president, a person I've been pleased to call friend for 4 years, shown dynamic leadership for the class of 1994, and always a pleasure to work with, Ms. Bernadette Soto.
Board of Education, administrators, faculty, friends, and family, I would like to once again welcome you to this graduation ceremony. I have spent a lot of time thinking about what would be appropriate to say today. I thought that this speech needed to inspire and impress everyone here. I thought I had to make myself sound smart and worthy to be speaking to you. As I thought of this speech and all that it was supposed to accomplish in 5 minutes, I realized that this may be one of the hardest things that I've had to do throughout my high school career. What do you say to people that you have seen every day for the past 6 years and after today may never see again? I put off doing this speech until the other night when I decided that what I had to say didn't have to impress or inspire everyone. It just had to mean something to me. I would like to start by reflecting upon our development throughout high school. When we were freshmen, we were unsure of ourselves and our surroundings. We depended on upperclassmen to set the standards. Once these standards were set, we tried to meet them. During our sophomore and junior years, we continued to follow others, but began to realize that we needed to start to set our own unique standards. Senior year was the year that we could no longer depend on anyone else. We had to make many of our decisions on our own. This is something that is both good and bad. We now have the freedom that we have wanted for so long, yet along with that freedom, there comes responsibility. Many of us will be leaving the comfort and safety of home and will once again become unsure of ourselves. This time, though, we cannot depend on others to set the standards or tell us how things should be done. We have to do that from the start. Although I am not known for giving advice, please allow me to offer you, the class of 1994, this. With me, I have a grenade. Don't worry, there's no fuse in it. This grenade was given to me with the following metaphor. The decisions you make are like grenades. Every time you are faced with a decision, you have to choose between what's best for you and what isn't. In effect, you have to decide whether or not to pull the pin of the grenade. In most cases, if you do decide to pull the pin of the grenade, it may explode in your hand, and in a few cases, you may be able to throw it before it explodes. But in this case, you have to remember that the grenade will land somewhere and will affect someone. In either case, you need to ask yourself, before you pull the pin of the grenade, if you are ready for the consequences. Although we may think that we are ready to take on the world at this point, there are still many things that we don't know and will only learn with the passage of time. Grenades should not be taken lightly, and neither should the decisions that you have to make. In closing, I would like to thank the class of 1994 for all of their cooperation during all of our various activities throughout high school. I would like to thank you for your memories, your friendship, energy, intelligence, and your talent. I'd like to thank the administrators, teachers, and our senior class advisor for their knowledge, their caring, and their dedication. I would like to thank the families for their support in our endeavors, our successes, and our failures. I would finally like to thank the parents, who many times showed us how to handle the many grenades that we have faced, even though we often refused to listen. I'd like to thank them for encouraging and sometimes forcing us to achieve our potential. And to all of you here, administrators, faculty, families, and friends, I can assure you that the class of 1994 will do its best to do all we are capable of doing, to be all that we are capable of being. I would like to wish the best of luck in your future endeavors and with all the grenades that you will be faced with. May you all lead safe, healthy, happy, and successful lives. We are a special class that can have an enormous effect on the world, and if we continue to work together, we will. Could I now have the representatives of the elementary schools please come forward? Could I also have the people accepting the gifts also come forward, please?
Hi, I'm Bruce Bailey. I'd like all my classmates graduating today from Fitchie Park Elementary School to please rise. On behalf of the senior class, I'd like to present this check for $500 to the Fitchie Park Home and School Association. Just show our gratitude.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hurlbut. I'd like to ask all of the Kingsford Park alumni to stand up, please. On behalf of the class of 1994, I'd like to present this check for $500 to the Home and School Association of Kingsford Park School.
Hi, my name is Maureen Mercier, and I'd like all my classmates from Layton School to please stand. On behalf of the class of 1994, I'd like to give this check for $500 to the Layton Home and School Association.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Katie Grant, and I'd like to ask all of my classmates from Minetto School to please stand. On behalf of this year's senior class, I'd like to present this check for $500 to the Minetto Home and School Association as a token of our gratitude.
Thank you very much.
On behalf of the Minetto School faculty, Home and School, and everyone involved, we want to thank you very much for this wonderful gift. It was a neat surprise, and we're going to use it towards our new playground. Thank you and congratulations.
Hi, I'm Emily Schilling. I'd like all the graduates from Riley School to stand up, please. On behalf of the senior class, I'd like to present the check for $500 to the Riley Home and School Association.
I want to thank Bernadette for her remarks and also the class for coming up with the idea of the gifts to the elementary schools. I think that ties this whole thing all together very nicely today. At this time, before I introduce our leadership of the district for their remarks, I want to introduce a group of people who are very special to me and also to this class. People who have, for the past 4 years, sweated blood to help you to be the successes that you have become, and that's the faculty of the high school who are with us today. Please stand. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce to you our Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Lee Cravata, for his remarks to the class.
Good morning. Members of the class of 1994, parents, and families and friends of the graduates. Today is a joyous occasion for all of us because we celebrate the class of 1994's successful completion of the requirements for a diploma from Oswego High School. One of the pleasurable aspects, even though I don't get $500, of being a superintendent of schools is the privilege to be among the first to officially congratulate the class of 1994 on reaching this most important milestone in your life. Before commenting further, however, I would like to recognize the other heroes of today's festivities. First and foremost, the families and friends who have contributed mightily to this effort. Their unconditional support and encouragement underlies the success of the class of 1994. Secondly, the partnership that has existed between the staff and the students. We salute that partnership and the staff for their assistance in helping us gain the levels of success we presently enjoy. And finally, but importantly, the Board of Education and the entire Oswego community for your continued support of our educational program. But today belongs chiefly to the graduates, and I have a few comments I would like to share with you. I promise to keep my remarks brief. In a few moments, you will be receiving a diploma, which will signify your graduation. These diplomas represent far more than what is written on them. They certainly represent the culmination of some 13 years of elementary and secondary education at Oswego. More importantly, they represent, symbolically at least, your moving from a life which has been largely directed, controlled, and sheltered to one which is more open, untried, and of free choice. The next few years should be a very exciting and vibrant period in your life. Whether you go on to college, enter the military, or start a career, I can guarantee you that some of the opportunities you find will be different than you expected. Some of the problems more numerous, and some of the challenges tougher. But I'll also guarantee that none have to be impossible or insurmountable. We as educators and parents can say that confidently because we know you have the ability to deal with both the opportunities and the problems. But for any of us, ability alone is not enough. You, as are we, are charged with accepting the responsibility and developing the resolve and willingness to make things happen, to solve problems, to transform opportunities into reality, and to shape and mold and balance reality in such a way as to enhance your lives and the lives of others. We know you can do this. We believe you will. And as you do, we will watch with a certain amount of envy and probably a combined feeling of nostalgia and relief. On the one hand, wishing we could relive some of these years. On the other hand, glad that we don't have to do so. I would guess we'll also do only what educators and parents can do. Occasionally offer bits of largely unsolicited advice, and at least privately take credit for some of your successes. Our wish for you is a life in which you will develop as individuals, of character, a life of happiness and fulfillment, a life of commitment and integrity, a life in which you try to make a difference, and above all, a life during which you can always look back and say, I did the best I could. On behalf of the administration, the faculty, staff of the Oswego City Schools, on behalf of the Board of Education, on behalf of the entire Oswego community, and most importantly, on behalf of your parents, I extend to you our congratulations. I express our joy for you. I offer our best wishes and expectations for your future. We know that your future is really the future. We entrust it to you, believing that it'll be in good hands and well cared for. In closing, I'd like to thank you for hearing me out, and again offer my most sincere congratulations to each and every one of you.
Thank you, Mr. Cravata. At this time, I'm going to present the President of the Board of Education. Most of our graduates today have met her at least once during your participation in government class requirement to attend a board meeting. This is a different role for her today, I think one that she enjoys much more. This is Kathleen Finland.
To the graduates, to their families and friends, to the faculty, and to the administration, but most importantly to our graduates. Today marks the beginning of a new chapter in your life. After today or after this summer, some of you will leave Oswego and never return here to live. Others of you will leave and at some point in the future may return, and still some of you will continue to live here in Oswego. Regardless of which of these paths that you follow, you will all encounter people that are different from what you were used to or what you have encountered before. You will meet people from different cultures, different races, different orientations, different physical capabilities, and different beliefs. Likewise, individuals will encounter you in the future and somehow see you as different from them. It used to be when I was growing up that we used to talk about America as being the great melting pot. The theory was that people from all different countries and cultures would live in harmony in our great country, and over the years, people's differences would somehow all melt into like, similar human beings. We are not a melting pot, and I hope that we never again look at America as being one. As our graduates face the unknown future, and not just our graduates, but all of us, it is essential that we welcome with enthusiasm and open arms the differences in others. President John F. Kennedy recognized this over 30 years ago when he said, in the final analysis, we all share the same basic common link, we all inhabit the small planet, we all breathe the same air, we all cherish our children's future, we are all mortal. I am so impressed in what I see in our young people. I admire your intellectual curiosity, I enjoy your spirit and enthusiasm, I respect your courage and conviction, I'm a little bit envious of your youth, and I admire the countless times that I have seen you willing to help others. I think we just saw a splendid example of that when we saw the class of 1994 so graciously give $500 to each elementary school. And you can't begin to imagine the countless kinds of ways that might benefit our younger students in the future, and what a great role model you have been in exhibiting that gift to the elementary schools. The generations before you have not always done such a good job in accepting the rich, diverse differences that are offered in this world. As we near the end of this century, we look to you and to your generation to lead the way in welcoming the diversity of others. Helen Keller, who was both visually and hearing impaired, saw and heard so much more than many of us ever will. She once said that there are no differences in people. Differences are only as the variation in shadows cast by the sun. On behalf of the Board of Education, I would like to extend our sincerest congratulations to all of our 1994 graduates and to your families. We wish you a bright and happy future as you prepare to become our leaders of tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Fenlon. There are many people in America today who question the strength of character, the scholarship, and the potential for leadership of this younger generation. We read constantly of the problems of and the troubles caused by today's youth. To read the newspapers, one would question the survival of America under the next generation's leadership. I can tell you, however, that these people have not known the Oswego High School class of 1994. The young men and women seated before us today have been a real pleasure to have worked with over the past 4 years. Their service to their families, their school, and to their community has been legion. In this class are leaders in scholarship, in the arts, in music, and in athletics. Among the 300 graduates here today are poets, journalists, broadcasters, auto mechanics, future doctors, lawyers, and much more. But more importantly to me, the members of this class are open, honest, loyal, and hardworking. These are young people that you just naturally like. They will be good neighbors, and they will continue to offer their talents to their community throughout their lifetimes. I, for one, eagerly await a world that is led by these young people. As a principal of a school, one must be careful not to say too often that this is a great class. People start to believe that these are only words that you say each year at commencement. In this case, I can say it is absolutely true. The class of 1994 will be remembered fondly at Oswego High School for many, many years to come. They are a class act. Many of us have looked to these young people throughout the years for their leadership. In closing, I would like to read from a letter that I received this past week from Taylor Evans, the father of Patrick Evans, who is graduating today. To me, it sums up nicely what the class of 1994 is all about. It's titled A Proud Father. Most children look up to their parents as role models, but I'm proud as a father to say that my two sons have been role models for me. I dropped out of school in the 9th grade, but with the help of my sons, Patrick and Jason, who spent a lot of hours with me studying math, science, social studies, English, and how to understand writing an essay, I went back and got my high school diploma at the age of 40. If it wasn't for the great school system we have today and the many great teachers that teach our children, my high school diploma would have been very unlikely. As I'm here today watching my oldest son graduate, it makes me one of the proudest fathers in the United States. And I know that there are many more parents here today who feel the same way. I say many thanks to all the teachers that have helped my sons and me make it. Mr. Evans, I want to thank you for sending me the letter. Patrick, you can hold your head high. Class of 1994, we love you. At this time, the moment you've all been waiting for, the presentation of diplomas by Mr. Lee Cravata and Mrs. Kathleen Finland, who will be assisted by Mr. Simmons, Mr. Lazarski, and Mrs. Kahn, who will read the roll of the class of 1994.
Are we on? Okay. All right. Okay. Elizabeth Ann Janney. Daniel Patrick Cray. Leah Christy Bridgers. Rebecca Lynn Derville. Zachary David Flack. Kelly Lynn Harrington. Lisa Catherine Hurlbut. Michael Patrick Matat. Rula Zbay. Carrie Lynn Adamkowski. Okay. All right. Michael Tabor Asenzi. J. B. Dennison. Leon Patrick Dowd. Joseph Logan Ferguson. Anna Rita Figueroa. Randall C. Fox. Melissa Ann Galetta. David Michael Garrow. Catherine Sarah Grant. Thomas Donald Grinnell. Tammy Elizabeth Guido. Holly Ann Izzo. Colin John Kilbane. Tiffany Ray Klein. Michael Miroslav Lupa. Catherine R. Lyons. Catherine Michelle Mena. Ryan Neil Mowry. Michael Joseph Pauldine. Cecilia Gomez Robles. Brian John Rookie. Rebecca Lynn Ryan. James Travis Schertzer. Emily J. Schilling. Holly L. Shenefil. Eric John Simmons. Bernadette Soto. Amity K. Tice. William James Wadsworth. Leah Jill Walborn. Amy Marie Altamanda. Derek Jason Andrews. Shauna Marie Arnold. Anthony J. Asensio. Michael A. Auclair. Shannon Marie Backus. Matthew Francis Bacon. Bruce M. Bailey. Jennifer Jean Barry. Matthew Philip Bartley. Jason J. Bauer. Aaron Colleen Beatty. Eric Stephen Becker. Lisa Ann George Edward Bentet. Excuse me. Lisa Ann Benzing. Heather L. Bergman. Susan Blanchard. Susan Blanchard. Jerry David Bloom. Tara Levine Bowles. Stephen D. Boney. Andrew R. Bowman. Stephen Mark Boyzik. Deborah J. Brightbeck. Melissa Denise Brown. Chelsea Marie Brownell. Kevin Michael Brutch. Jason Bullock. Jonathan J. Burgess. Anthony Thomas Burns. Lisa Ann Burnswick. Michael Andrew Bush. Elaine Christine Bushy. Dina Marie Busky. Thomas J. Calderon. Anne Cynthia Callie. Kelly Lynn Callahan. Elisa Michelle Canali. Dawn Catherine Carocchio. Sarah Catherine Carocchio. Megan Yoon Jung Cass. Carolyn Catherine Castilla. Cussie J. Catalone. Margaret Mary Clark. Mandy Lynn Cliff. Michael Paul Coe. Allison Elizabeth Cole. Carrie Ann Canzone. Maria Christina Canzone. Robert Brian Kuhn. Brian Carl Cooper. Dwight Anthony Corey. Justin Bradley Crosby. Teresa Michelle Crusetti. Carrie Ann Cutro. Michelle Morrison Dashnaw. Stephanie Ann Delahunt. Denise Jennifer Delaney. George F. DeLong. Roger Michael Damas. Erin Elizabeth Dowling. Diego de Santiago. Jeffrey Joseph DeSantis. Joanne Marie Deschambeau. John Dexter Dice. Michael Brian Dingman. Claudette I. Dirk. Brandy Denise Donovan. Tina Marie Dowd. Jennifer Rose Douglas. Adrian J. Dowdle. John Raymond Ducar. Ava Phyllis Dunn Freibig. Lisa Marie Dunsmore. Michelle Marie Derville. Christopher Earl. Laurie Ann Eggleston. William Marlon Elliott. Harmony Marie Emmert. Patrick Taylor Evans. Matthew Michael Felice. Karen Marie Familo. Aaron Richard Farrell. Kimberly Ann Bellows. Kenneth R. Bensky. William E. Fisher. Aaron Lynn Foley. Edward Matthew Galvin. Rosanna Carmelina Gambino. Valerie Lee Gautier. Robert Timothy Gelhoff. James G. Gillardin. Timothy John Giroux. John F. Gibson III. Joseph P. Gibson. Joshua James Gibson. Duane Edward Gills. Shannon L. Joya. Katrina Elizabeth Godisi. Aaron Drew Gordon. Christopher Michael Greeny. Jared Allen Griffin. Laurie Elizabeth Grulick. Julie Ann Griffin. Peter Joseph Gunn. Catherine A. Gunther. Brenda Lynn Geyer. Amy Elizabeth Hall. Rebecca Jean Hammond. Stacy Marie Hansel. Shane R. Hairson. Shannon Marie Harvey. James S. Hayes. Nicole Marie Hayes. Darlene June Haynes. Leslie A. Holland. Jason Deerer Howes. Capucine Humel. Benjamin Michael Indino. Amanda Jean Jasak. Emily Ann Jenkins. Aaron Roy Johnson. Chad W. Jones. Stephen Allen Cant. Jai Kapowicki. Matthew James Kale. Veronica Elizabeth Kellogg. Matthew Edward Kenyon. Stephanie Kimmel. Eric M. Young. Kelly Sue Clawiter. Gary Joseph Clemens. Jennifer Lynn Clock. Phoebe Jean Knapp. James Michael Knight. Brad Knoop. Richard Allen Knopf. Kimberly Ann Polak. Emily Elizabeth Kalida. Kristen Jane Kuchilla. Krista Ann Kubala. Kristen Marie Kurilovich. Troy Aaron LeClaire. Ryan Charles Lanigan. Joseph Richard Legg. Daniel Leota. Jeffrey Francis List. Matthew Allen Losi. Bobby Joe Lewis. Susan Ludwig. Rebecca Ann Lubke. Pamela Lynn Lyons. Jeremy M. Mahar. Cynthia Ann Malone. Stephen Evans Murata. Shoshana Renee Martin. Hercules Thomas Master IV. Jordan Michael Mayer. Scott McCauley. Emily Elizabeth McCormick. Tressa Ann McManus. Aaron M. McQueen. A. David McCrae. Matthew J. Meehan. Maureen Elizabeth Mercier. Rebecca Merritt. Jennifer Lee Maselli. Tara Marie Millar. Heidi Lynn Miller. Janine Ann Miller. Nathaniel Joseph Morey. Tom H. Mosier. Timothy Michael Murphy. Kevin Michael Narolas. Pamela Ann Natoli. Amy Marie Naylor. Antoinette Michelle Nelson. Kimberly Ann Nettles. Denon Amanda Norfleet. David Charles O'Connor. Sarah Ray O'Gorman. Carolyn Marie Oliark. Jeremy Daniel O'Neill. Thomas Edward Oppenhowski. Michelle Lee O'Shea. Kristen Marie Peziak. William Charles Patterson. Michael A. Pauldine. Chad Michael Perfetti. Megan Kelly Phillips. Rachel Marie Phillips. Dominic Anthony Piazza. Robert Michael Pitzer. Christy Lynn Pospessel. Robert Jason Pratt. Karen Christine Ravisi. Jill Marie Reeves. Stephanie Ann Ritz. Gregory Mitchell Reynolds. April A. Richardson. Tricia Joanne Robillard. Faye Rodriguez Marquez. Xiomara Suhail Rodriguez. Brandy L. Rose. Jason Peter Rotolo. Andrea Jean Roy. Christopher M. Roy. Jason William Roy. Ryan J. Ruff. Daniel Ross Rupert. Stephen Paul Rutan. Carl F. Sanders. Raina Diane Sanger. Sonia S. Saxman. Jason Allen Shannon. Joseph Andrew Skillen. Stephen James Sledziona. Gregory Mark Slosick. Eric Andrew Smith. Jason, wait a minute, Gerard Smith. Shannon Colleen Smith. Michael Peter Zarikas. Okay. Jamie Lynn Spade. Nicole Jolene Stannard. Peter Langford Stickles. Teresa Marie Stock. Paul Stoner. Antigone May Stout. Jason Gordon Stupp. Brian Joseph Sugar. Benjamin Michael Sullivan. Sherry Lynn Cicino. Heather Eve Sweet. Ronald Lee Sweeting. Amy Marie Simmons. Tammy A. Zaluga. Brian M. Teifke. Angela Dawn Thompson. Jonathan S. Thompson. James Alexander Thorpe. Ryan Jeffrey Thorpe. Richard John Tobin. Carrie Ann Tonkin. Patrick Joseph Tonkin. Caleb John Therese. Matthew Nicholas Trent. Peter J. Schutte. Kimberly Joy Tumbry. Tamara Jo Van Auken. Jennifer Lynn Bandish. David Bashaw. Jessica Rose Vermilia. Megan Lee Victory. Melissa Ann Victory. Howard Hotchkiss Voorhees. Lynn Marie Wallace. Elizabeth Marie Weimer. Justin Douglas White. Sandra Marie White. Jennifer Lynn Wills. Robert George Wills. Heather Lynn Woods. Matthew Philip Zoney. And Frederick M. Zeich. Congratulations.
Just going to wait a moment while the faculty gets in place for the recessional. If I could have your attention, please. We're going to ask that you please stay in place while the class recesses. The faculty is forming an honor guard to shake hands and say goodbye to the class of '94. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, it is my pleasure as principal of Oswego High School to present to you the Oswego High School class of '94.